Hello, future viewers, and welcome to a series that no one in particular asked me for, but I think will be appropriate for the month of October. We are going to look at adventure games. In particular, a couple of fairly dark-themed adventure games from the days of the original Nintendo. The first one is Shadowgate, which is kind of swords and sorcery, medieval exploration thing, which has some dark moments in it, to be sure, but it might not be the main theme. That's why I'm doing that first. Second, we're doing Uninvited, which is definitely more of a spooky central theme to it. Well, I hope that you enjoy this. I have very fond memories of these games. We're not playing Deja Vu, though. That's not really fitting for the theme, and also not my favorite of the series, though it does have some fans. Shadowgate. Made in 1987 by ICOM, the second of the MacVenture series. Yes, I did say MacVenture, even though the version we got in the collection is the NES version, and there's some differences between the two, which I will talk about as we go. Although there's fewer differences in this game than in the Uninvited. And what we have here is something that I imagine being read in monotone by a dungeon master from the pages of a module book. We're not too concerned about the overarching plot of this game. It's more the atmosphere, the puzzles, and of course, the ways to die. It is in fact possible to die as more or less your very first action, although it takes some determination on your part. It's not something that can really be done by accident. So before we start our quest to destroy the Warlock Lord, let's take the only item that we have at the start, our torch, and use it on ourselves. I've personally had second-degree burns before. They are no joke. Huge blisters, very painful. Having that on your hands is already kind of incapacitating. As for third-degree burns, those are the kind that go so deep that you might not even feel anymore because of the nerve damage. That's the kind of burn that already has a good shot of killing you. But we're not done yet. Now, this death is extremely avoidable. Aside from it being the sort of thing that you can kind of intuitively realize is not a good idea, it gives you plenty of warnings. Don't get used to that. There's some other deaths that are not nearly so, friendly, if death could be considered friendly. And you can kind of tell that you are not really supposed to do that, or at least the game didn't really expect you to, considering that you have to just sit through the entire starting description of the game. I consider it a suitable punishment. Well, we have lots of typical adventure commands such as look, open, use. Speak is not going to be used very often here, or at least it doesn't solve many puzzles. And there's the open command. Opening a door, very intuitive. Opening the skull at the top of the door, not so intuitive. The clue that you can do this with the skull at the top is, just kidding, there aren't any clues. That's the sort of thing that kinda gives this game the reputation of having to do everything to every object in the game in order to just move forward. So I'm gonna save you the trouble for that sort of thing. Uh-oh, we are being looked at. That particular feature of being observed by the main bad guy of the game was mostly removed from the NES version. It acted as kind of a time limit for completing the game, because at certain intervals, the bad guy would look at you and gloat about how he knows everything you're going to do, and eventually he succeeds at summoning the behemoth, and the game is just over. This was removed because I believe the game designers of the NES version wanted to remove unwinnable states. Also, the music has just turned a little bit ominous, hasn't it? Well, we're going to ignore that for now. Also, it makes kinda sense for the first couple of interior doors to be locked already. So I have to give respect for that. Now, this is, I think, a pretty reasonable thing. We have an off-color piece of wall there. It seems like it would make sense to fiddle around with that to see if it's a passage. And of course, we are taking every torch we can find because, well, we're not going to worry about why right now. Okay. I guess we have elves here, but it doesn't matter to us anymore, because that ominous music was to tell us that our torch was running out and we needed to light a new one. Also, the original game was a little bit more straightforward about why falling down was lethal. It was a neck-breaking fall. Well, we have a book on that pedestal thing. So let's take a look. It looks like it could be important to us. We should take it to see if there's anything interesting we can do with it. Never mind. I guess we can't. So, is there anything that we can do? By the way, that death scene, iconic. Lots of people love that thing. Or at least those familiar with the game. And I agree. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, how do we disarm the trap? The answer is we don't have to. We can't anyway. But we can just open it and do what we need with that book without taking it off the pedestal. Which I think is actually a pretty neat solution that is just perfect for a puzzle. It's not the first thing you would think of, but is obvious when you actually try it out. Not all the puzzles are going to be like that, but I think it's important to appreciate them when they are here. Oh, I can't take that torch? Why not? But what if they're not just torches? What if they're secretly levers? That's two hidden passages in as many screens. It's not all going to be like that, but it does sort of set the tone, doesn't it? Well, we're going to explore that bridge room thoroughly not too long from now, but first of all, I want to see what's down each passageway available to us. In a game like this, all of these rooms are likely to have some use. Uh-oh, it's that ominous music again. And this... First of all, the fact that this room is really cold is, on its own, going to have importance later. How you deal with that torch problem? Well, that's how. You light a new torch. And that's kind of, its own, I'll say, time limit for the game. You only have so many torches. That torch is put aside from your normal pile for a reason. Good to pay attention to that. Anyway, the idea is that you keep making progress and exploring, and as you do that, you find more torches to pick up and explain, or extend your time limit. Oh! It looks like that trapdoor with the ladder was not so friendly. Another thing that was changed from the original to the 8-bit version is that in the original, when you opened that trapdoor, it told you that it was just a fragment of ladder, as opposed to this game, which doesn't even tell you if you try to look closely at it. Most of the changes make some sort of sense in the conversion to 8-bit, but that one does not. I don't know why they did that. It's also worth noting that dying if your torch is almost out refreshes it a little bit, once again probably to prevent unwinnable states. So let's take those torches as usual. There's plenty of time to look at stuff and still stay within the torch time limit. They were pretty generous about that. And we have time to explore just one more room before our video is over, and that's interesting. It's imposing. I believe this music is unique to this room, as a matter of fact. The original version did not have background music, by the way. That's a lot of useful-looking stuff. I guess there's a reason it is just sitting there, huh? Yeah, that seems like a problem, doesn't it? Yeah, we're not going to run up and fight a dragon in this game. We're gonna just solve the puzzle somehow next time. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching. We're going to deal with the dragon and then move on from there, and I hope you'll stop by to see me later. Bye, everyone!